This is the inside of the aquaponics setup. As you can see, there's room for 3 trays here. So we have our lower one here. We have a middle tray and an upper tray, which can be have items on it too. Mark, why don't you give us a little history on aquaponics and how it started and what is involved in it?
Well, aquaponics has been around for hundreds of years. In the Philippines, they've been using it for quite some time. Southeast Asia, been utilized with outdoor crops and growing tilapia. And then in the 70s, people started upgrading and doing things like this, building tanks with water in them. And this water is recirculated fish water. So the water that's in here is the same water that's in a fish tank. And it's chock full of nutrients. And the plants clean the nutrients out of the water, and the fish in turn get basically filtered water.
And so it's a closed loop system, sort of?
It's a closed loop system. Like I said, all the water that is in the fish tank is the same water that's in the grow tanks. It's just constantly being recirculated. The plants and the fish create a symbiotic relationship.
And we're going to go over here, and what I'm looking at now, or what you're looking at, is the tank holding the fish. And how many fish would you have in here?
You can get about 65 fish in there. I have about 34 right now, and we'll start to increase them again. The fish we harvested out of this, the amount of fish that we harvested this year was about 50 pounds for our family, and we'll probably expect to get at least 100 pounds this next year.
Okay, and how many fish is like the maximum that'll be in this tank?
Maximum between juveniles and adults, about 65 to 70 is as many as we can get in there. That's a 300-gallon tank, so you can't really go much higher than that.
Right. And what is the type of fish again that's in here, primarily?
Tilapia. It's in the perch family, and you could grow perch, bass, tilapia, even trout.
Okay. And how big will they get, approximately?
Now, the biggest fish we got in there right now is probably about 18 inches long, and he weighs probably about 2.5 pounds, 3 pounds.
Wow.
Average size, you get about a pound of meat off of an average fish.
Okay. All right. And let's talk about this system that you've got here and how it's designed and what you could do with it, and etc. Would you figure that this would be a good add-on for a house?
Yes.
For a family to
Yes, this size of a building, this setup right here could feed a family of 4 and probably save about 50% on your food bill, at least.
Okay.
So it is definitely something that's worth putting onto somebody's house, or having an individual greenhouse or a garden setup.
And from a perspective of a family, it would be a good project for them to bond together with.
It's great because there's other values than just growing the food out here. My kid, for instance, she's just interested in being out here and seeing how things operate and the science behind it. All the kids that we've brought in here so far is kind of a surprise. They like it. They want to be in here, and I'll come out here and the kids will be in here and they'll be explaining it to their friends on what's going on out here, and they're very proud of it, and so you get the double value, and it's peaceful.
Yeah.
For them to be out here.
What type of, how much water circulates in here?
About 1,500 gallons.
And how much water do you actually have lost through evaporation?
Very little, because you can see the way these are covered up, so you don't lose a ton of water through evaporation. Evapotranspiration through the plants is where you're going to be losing most of your water.
So how much additional water do you have to add as the month progresses? Like in the summer, there's probably more water to be added than the winter.
Correct. It's about 10%, and we catch most of our rainwater, so very rarely do we have to add a ton of water from the hose bib or anything like that. And if we do, we always start with a tank of good water that's balanced correctly and everything. So when we put it in, it's optimum for the fish and the plants.
And if you were to construct a aquaponics setup like you have here, what would you consider the approximate cost, give or take?
Probably right around $7,000.
Okay, and how long would that take to build?
This type of project, by the time you're off and running, you're a good 7 to 10 day project.
7 to 10 day project, and then
it depends on, you know, if the homeowner, how much interaction they have with it, and the size, you know, and the amenities that you put into it. So it varies, you know.
right.
Just like if you go buy a new car, what type of amenities do you want to put in it? And it's the same thing with this type of a system.